We're good to go.
All right, welcome everyone to another episode of 1 Million Cups Fairfax chapter. We're so glad that you can join us this morning. If this is your first time, special thanks to you for joining this morning. My name is John Yu. I'm one of the organizers and I will be emceeing the meeting today. Please take a moment to check in to our app. If you don't have an app, you can download from App Store or Google Play Store. This will help us to know that you're here and allows us to grow as a family. Also, please use a chat functionality to introduce yourself so that we all know that you're here today. Next slide. So we are a Fairfax, we're the Fairfax chapter of 1 Million Cups. Believe it or not, there are over 160 chapters all across our country. We gather every Wednesday morning to build a community of entrepreneurs, and we educate one another and on solving business challenges. And so if you're excited about those things, entrepreneurship, community, and education, you're in the right place. Next slide. So the mission of 1 Million Cups is pretty simple. It is to come together as entrepreneurs and as a community to help each other grow and overcome our business challenges. And this is really where things are business problems are solved. Next slide. So our culture is to create a safe and supportive environment where everyone feels welcomed. We're radical about being inclusive. And as you can see, we're all volunteer-led community. Hence, we need everyone's support, whether you're attendee, a presenter, or organizer. We all need everyone's support in order to make this community grow. Next slide. So we like everyone to join as a community. It is a co-owned by everyone that show up and provide the support. And as I mentioned, it's all volunteer-led and supported by all the volunteers. Next slide. All right, so we would like to welcome everyone to join the community. There are many ways you can help the community grow. First is to attend the meeting every week. Second is to participate in the conversation and provide feedback during the presentation segment and the latter part of the meeting. And third is engage us online, share our content on social media, LinkedIn and Facebook, and that will really help to get the word out to everyone in the area. Also, finally, invite your friends and colleagues to help the community grow. Next slide. So as I mentioned before, we are an all volunteer-led community led by the organizers and supported by the brand ambassadors. Here you see are the organizers who work behind the scene to make things happen, make our meetings possible. I like to take this moment to ask the organizers that are here to introduce themselves. Danielle Johns, Jen Dalton, Tony Bennett are the organizers. They're not here today, so let me ask Mayosha to introduce herself.
Hi, good morning. I'm Mayosha Mendes. I'm the founder of the Transformational Education Adventure Center. It's a child care center here in McLean. I'm very excited to be here.
All right, thanks, Mayosha. I'm John Yu. I'm going to be the MC for the meeting today.
Good morning, everybody. I'm Melinda Sigel. I'm flying the plane today behind the scenes with the presentation slides. I have a business called the Sales and Marketing Connection, and I want to welcome you all here today.
Hey, I'm John Rotenberg, cccsolutions.com. We help you manage your contacts, your prospects, and clients so you close more sales.
Morning, everyone. I'm Rosemary Savino. from Gravitate. We are a B2B communication and file sharing platform that's perfect for groups like this that need to stay in touch. And I'm very excited today to hear more about Innovare solutions. And back to you, John Yu.
All right, thank you. Next slide. All right, so also we have volunteers who are the brand ambassadors. These are the folks that work behind the scene to get the word out to the community about 1 Million Cups. And I saw Dan, so let me ask Dan and all the brand ambassadors to introduce themselves. Dan?
Morning, everyone. Dan Lender, Golden Rule Home Watching Concierge. Glad to be part of, or very grateful to be part of 1 Million Cups. Great people, and with creative ideas are always willing to help others. So I can tell you more about my business another time, but you know, I'm glad to be here today.
Thanks, Dan. And I thought I saw just John Foster.
I am here. I apologize, John. I'm in the car, so it's a little challenging. I'm grateful to be here, and you know, this group, as far as support to entrepreneurs and solopreneurs, you know, awesome group, and grateful for the technology to be able to be here while I'm driving. Thanks, John.
The beauty of virtual meetings. All right, so who else? I don't know if I saw Sarah.
I think Gresham's here. Or if not,
Oh, Christian. Okay, I'm sorry.
Nope, Reggie is here.
Reggie's here. Reggie's here.
Reggie. Okay.
Hi, everybody. Reggie Holmes with Enthuse Creative. We do brand strategy and design. And I, like others have said, I'm grateful to be a part of the 1 Million Cups community as a brand ambassador. Look forward to learning about new businesses and great innovative ideas and the people behind them. So thanks.
All right, and finally, Lisa, if you're here. Lisa's not here today.
Nope,
All
we
right.
don't have Lisa and Sarah this week.
Okay, fantastic. All right, next slide, please. All right, so at this time, I'd like to recognize our sponsors. Normally when we meet in person, we have two sponsors. First is the space sponsor, and next is the coffee sponsor. Even though we're still meeting virtually, we'd like to recognize these two sponsors. The first is the Office Evolution. As you can see on the picture on the left, we are a co-working space provider in Tyson's Corner. We offer flexible office space and private office, virtual office to local businesses in the area. And we love partnering with local business organizations like 1 Million Cups to help support the business community. Second is our coffee sponsor for the month of October. And I'll ask John Rotenberg from CCC to tell us a little bit about your company, John.
Thank you, John. Hey, CCC Solutions is a supplier of customer relationship management software where we combine the power of software with some excellent outbound and inbound marketing strategies focused on contacts. More critical than CCC, which stands for Collaborate, Communicate equals Cash Flow. 1 Million Cups is an amazing organization where folks can share ideas. And every week I learn something new, which is a major benefit. And I'm just lucky to be the sponsor this month, and I encourage you all to become coffee sponsors. Thank you.
All right, thanks, John. Next slide. All right, so the moment that we've all been waiting for, but before we have our presenters speak, let me go through some ground rules for our virtual meeting. First of all, I'd like to ask everyone to please keep your microphone on mute during the presentation. And after the presentation, you'll have opportunity to provide feedback on the business challenge that Innovare have, and also ask questions. Our moderator for today is Mayosha, I'm sorry. and she will help facilitate the discussion. So with that, let me, next slide, please. So our today's presenter is Adam from Innovare, and he actually found us online about our chapter. So without further ado, Adam, please take it away.
Great, thank you, John, and thank you, everyone. It was nice to hear all of those introductions. And thanks for the opportunity to present to you all today. My name is Adam Schaefer. I am with Innovare Social Innovation Partners. Excuse me. We are an education technology company helping education leaders with a data and strategic planning app to integrate their data and strategies. So the challenge question I have for you all today is, how do we efficiently speak about our company to new markets? 3 key words in that question: efficiently, because we are a small team. You'll see later on, I'll show you all the full team for Innovare. We are a small but mighty team, so we need to figure out how to efficiently talk about it talk about our company to save time and be more effective. And then the next 2 words, new markets. We are looking to expand across the nation and internationally as well. So it would be really helpful to understand how we can efficiently talk to new markets. Next slide, please. So what's the challenge that we are facing within Innovare and within the education ecosystem? So education leaders deserve to have those tools that make them more effective at their jobs. Think about healthcare, the financial world, technology world. All of those leaders, all of those employees have those tools, have those insights, have the cutting edge technology to help them be more efficient, be more effective with their jobs. But for some reason, we're not doing that in the education space. In the education space, there are too many systems that don't work together. There are too many dashboards that are not helpful and effective. And then there are ineffective ways to oversee teams. And secondly, the major challenge that we're facing, and this is specifically in Virginia, but it's also across the nation. It's very similar across the nation. So the state of education in Virginia, 33% of 8th grade students are at or above proficiency in reading, 37 in math. That means that about 65% of students in 8th grade are underperforming or not meeting our expectations. We're not setting them up for success later on. So there's ample opportunity to improve our education ecosystem. Next slide, please. So how do we help? How does Innovare play our part in impacting that? So we are an education technology company with a cutting edge technology that has 2 different aspects. First is Inno, which is our app that integrates data and strategic planning into one intelligent tool, allowing for leaders to drive continuous improvement and achieve their school goals. The second is the Innoverse. Innoverse is our changemaker community that connects those K through 12 administrators and educational nonprofit leaders to share their best practices, to come together, to combine their efforts, to combine their knowledge, their brilliance, to drive innovation across the education ecosystem across the nation. Next slide, please. A little bit more about how we take our approach to our partners, and we do say partners rather than customers, because we do feel like we play a collaborative part in how we operate and implement their strategies. So the first thing we do is we understand their goals. So we know that every school community is unique. They have common pain points, common struggles, of course, but every school community is unique. So we want to approach them in that manner. So we want to understand their strategic goals, their pains, and what their aspirations are for the school community. Second is we want to present their data their way. We want it to be usable for them. We know that one of the major problems that they have is they have unusable data, or the data isn't an effective tool for their decision making and their continuous improvement. So we want to make sure that the data is designed in a way, their dashboards are designed in a way that is effective and helpful for them. The third thing we do is we go beyond the data, because we know data in itself is not actionable. It's about that strategy behind the data. How do we improve that really changes or pushes the needle forward to build improvement within their school systems? So in that, we have a strategic planning part of the app that I'll show you in just a little bit. And then the fourth thing is the change maker community. So we welcome all of our partners across the nation into that community. We offer support, we provide customer success, throughout the entire process. We offer webinars for best practices. So we want to make that more of a large community nationwide of these Innovare partners. Next slide, please. Okay, so let's dive a little bit into the app so you get a couple of visuals of what we're looking at within the application itself. The first thing that we do with our partners is we simplify and clean the data. We triangulate different systems. So let's say a school has a student information system, financial system, social and emotional system. They have a smorgasbord of different sources that they use. So what we want to do is triangulate the information, again, based on their preferences and their goals. We triangulate them to make sure that it's a usable dashboard interface. Next slide, please. Secondly, we drive the strategy. There is a strategic planning part of Inno, and you see that in the background there in that image. And we want to make sure that we can operationalize their strategies. Too often, school districts, school networks have come up with action plans or strategies that are static. They're in just a PDF form. They can't be operationalized very easily, and they can oftentimes be forgotten. So we want to make it easier, more efficient for school leaders to operationalize those strategies. And we can also, we're building this out through the roadmap of how we're designing our own company and how we're building this app long-term. We're integrating machine learning into the system to support the efficiency within the system itself. And then next slide, please. And then lastly, it's also important to report successes and progress to goals. So within Inno itself, we can easily give an impact report based on those goals, based on those dashboards, that then those leaders can share with their school boards, their stakeholders, their communities to show the progress that they're making in those schools. Next slide, please. All right, so our primary persona that we work with are principals, superintendents, and education leaders. Primarily, we do work with principals and superintendents in the K-12 space, both public and charter. And then the one thing that's missing from the slide that I forgot to include is our business model. So how do we operate on a financial standpoint? And we are a subscription-based model, and our subscriptions vary between different characteristics, from the number of users, from the number of dashboards, to the number of data sources that we integrate into the system. Next slide, please. All right, so we are a company founded by men of color. The top three individuals there that you see, those are the three founders, AJ, Fair, and Nick. We are a very diverse team from different backgrounds. We have a lot of education professionals, business and technology experts. So our diversity is one of our key strengths in how we are achieving this goal in growth, sorry. And with that, I think, I'm not sure if I met the 6 minutes or out it, but it feels good. So I'll stop there. And there's the challenge question is next, I believe. So again, I just want to reiterate this question: how do we efficiently and effectively speak about our company to new markets? And then the last thing I'll ask, and maybe I'm jumping the gun in this, asking this question, if you would move to the next slide, please. What can the 1 Million Cups community do to help? I've done, this will be my third 1 Million Cups presentation. I've also presented in Orlando and in Albany, New York. So we are always asked this question, so I came prepared with a slide to kind of jump the gun a little bit. So what can 1 Million Cups do for Innovare today in really helping to build those insights into what we're doing, what we're not doing, different ideas that you can bounce off of us, and we'd love to gain those insights. Second are those connections. Like I mentioned, we're looking to expand nationally, but really targeted. We want to expand across New York, Virginia, the DC, Maryland area, and then Florida as well. So that's kind of why we're doing this tour of 1 Million Cups across the Eastern Seaboard. And then lastly is the messaging. So how did the presentation overall land? Did it make sense? Was it clear, coherent? Are there areas that we can be more concise and be more effective in our messaging? And again, thank you for the opportunity. And I think that is the end of the slide. So I will turn it over.
All right, thanks, Adam. So the next segment of our meeting will be Q&A. And Melinda, can you go back to the others previous line? Great, thank you. To help Adam solve this business challenge question. So Mayosha will help moderate the Q&A session. And so Mayosha, please take it away.
Thank you, Adam. That was an awesome presentation. I mean, you and I have something in common. Actually, I have a child care center here, and you might hear some children in the background.
Wonderful.
So we have Adrian Carr, who has a question, and after Adrian, we have Rosemary. So if you have any questions, please raise your hand and put them on the chat box. Adrian.
Thank you. Hi, Adam. That was a great presentation. I happen to be a parent of a child in Fairfax County. Those statistics were really alarming. She's in second grade. My question to you is, when you are presenting to school systems, I would ask you to keep the parents and teachers in mind. Certainly this last year has sent us as parents through many platforms, which yes, do not work and are not user friendly, but it also created extra work for teachers who then had to troubleshoot for parents, in addition to managing classrooms and teaching. I would work on how your platforms can be very user friendly, how parents who already, as you know, all parents are balancing everything, don't have to do too much. There's no steep learning curve. And the big issue in Fairfax, as with the rest of the country, has been internet equity. For example, my daughter's school is a Title I school, and it's been a big challenge on getting other kids in her class to have internet access. So is your platform, how would you address that issue, and how would you make it more equitable for the whole school system? Because I know for Fairfax, that's a big issue. And that's my advice to you, is focus on equity.
Great, thank you, Adriana, and thank you for the question. And I think, and I didn't preface this, but this is about my 2.5 month mark, so I'm still pretty new to Innovare. Just finished my MBA about 4 months ago and joined just recently. So if I have a lapse in deep knowledge about an area in the company, I do apologize, and I'm happy to follow up on that. But what your question makes me think about is, within designing a business, is being very specific about the targeted user or the targeted persona. And we feel that within the ed tech market, there are a lot of systems in place for the teacher, for the parent, for the student. There's a lack of systems for the education leader. So ours is designed specifically to enable the education leader with that dashboard, with the strategy and the actionable strategy, that then they can lead their school communities. There are aspects to the app that we can enable, like public access. So we can create logins that are filtered, that maybe only one of the dashboards is viewable from the public standpoint, or from the teacher standpoint, whatever it might be. So we have that ability to uniquely design systems, dashboards, actions based on what the school leader wants, or how the school leader wants to use this app. Because again, it's really, we focus on what the school leaders, the school leadership team wants and what they need in this continuous improvement or change management system, essentially. So I think there are opportunities to broadcast this type of application, this type of very usable, very understandable dashboard system to the public, to the teachers, possibly to the students, but I don't know if they would really focus on it that much. But thank you for the advice and the idea.
Thank you, Adrian. Next we have Rosemary, and after Rosemary, we have Melinda Siegel, and after Melinda, Reggie.
Great.
Rosemary.
Excuse me, great presentation, Adam. I'm so choked up by what you're doing. Sorry. I have one question for you, and potentially 1.5 recommendations. So I'll put everything in the comments when I'm done. My first question for you is specifically in answer to your challenge question. Have you gone back to the customers that have, or the partners that you've successfully onboarded and who are very happy with your product, and ask them to tell you why. So it's very powerful, especially in a young company, to ask open-ended questions of your existing users. And what you'll find is typically one or two golden threads that come out of that. And that would speak to the 2 or 3 words or the 2 or 3 ideas to communicate into new markets. And so if you haven't, I would encourage you to talk to your existing partners to try and pull those golden threads out. So that's the question. And then suggestions/comments. I believe they have these in every state. So I think in Florida, you can work with the SBDC, that's the Small Business Development Corp. It's generally a federal, state, or state local kind of setup. I can't imagine they don't have them in the Orlando area, the general Florida area, even in your area. And what the SBDC does is they run a smaller version of an ICOR, which is the National Science Foundation program called ICAP, ICAP. And in an ICAP program, it's like a 3 or 4 week course that drills down into very specifically how to answer this question, how to really get to all the folks that you want to get to in new markets. So I will put that information, you and I can catch up after this to see if we can dig down and find the right ICAP program for you. But I would recommend that would be the path you'd go down. So between an SBDC, an ICAP program, or something similar. I'm saying Florida because I think that's where your senior founders are located.
Great, thank you. Thank you for the advice. Right now, the 3 founders that I showed you on that screen, they're all based in Chicago, but they're quickly moving elsewhere. One is planning to move to Miami, one's planning to move to Mexico City. So we're quickly diversifying where we're based. For your first question, and thank you for the recommendations. I look forward to following up with you after. For your first question, or for your question, that is one of the things that we are focused on as we develop our marketing content, as we develop our sales strategies. In going back to the customer, we do have a few case studies, case reports from principals who have been with us for 2 to 3 years. So that it is a really effective way, but we haven't recently gone back to that. And I think that's a really effective way to really understand from the user standpoint, what the impact is, how to efficiently speak about that.
Thanks. Thank you, Rosemary. Next, we have Melinda, and after Melinda, we have Reggie, and after Reggie, we have Ken.
Outstanding presentation. Really enjoyed it. Got a couple of recommendations where you may be able to also get to a lot of folks that you're trying to reach. There are associations for everything, and there are teachers associations, principal associations, school administrator associations, and you can probably Google it and find it. If you need help, I'd be happy to help you locate the appropriate ones. One of my questions that I was also thinking, why K through 12th grade? What about also daycare centers? And then that gets me to summer camps. And I know if you wanted to get into Alexandria, another way to get in is through the city council and, you know, the local governments in the community. And the SBDC is excellent, as Rosemary suggested, but those are just ways to get into the community. Wanted to make those recommendations.
Great idea. I didn't elaborate too much on this, but one of the aspects that we also focus on is the nonprofit and the foundation space that work within the education sphere. So that we do have clients or partners in those persona types. So that allows us to kind of expand away from or beyond just the K-12. It's on the roadmap of what we want to achieve in the next 2 to 3 years to also expand to secondary education, to see about like associate college or 2-year colleges, 4-year colleges, see how we can integrate within their systems. We know that's a totally different beast because they have different data systems, data sources, and also they're substantially larger. But we do have within our long-term business plan how we can expand. So I think looking at that pre-K and summer school aspect, I think those are great ideas. Thank you.
Thank you. Reggie?
Yes, I had a question and then like a question comment. Great presentation. I was wondering if from your perspective, is this tool a save time tool, a save money tool, or a save stress tool, or is it all of them? Because I feel like I get that it helps, you know, the administrators to do their job better. But I wasn't clear like which one you sort of lead with when you're pitching the product. So that's one thing. And then also, I know that leaders in individual schools can change. You know, the principal can leave and then go somewhere else. And so there's a different leadership in place. And I was just wondering if you could clarify the approach. Do you approach the principals individually themselves, or you know, and what about approaching the school districts? Because if the district is sold on the tool, they can get it into the schools, as opposed to if you go to the principals and the principal leaves. They might be, you know, won over to it, but the next person is going to do their own thing. So I was just wondering about that approach. But great job, and thanks for sharing with us.
Thanks, Reggie. I'll start with your first question first. So we do pitch our product as a time saver and a money saver. I think that goes hand in hand with saving, like alleviating stress. But our value proposition is it can save time. We hear from all sorts of different types of education leaders that they spend 4, 6, 8 hours a week on building a dashboard because they don't have a data technician, data strategist in their school building or their district. So they themselves are taking time either after school hours, in the evenings, they're taking up their personal time, or they're taking up time where they could be spending it in the classroom, observing teachers, connecting with students. So we're saving them that time. And then also saving money because we are, in addition to like providing this app, we do provide them a dedicated customer success manager who all have backgrounds in education. So they come from the education space, whether it be teaching, data strategy, continuous improvement. So we offer that professional support that then they meet with them regularly. So they have scheduled like quarterly meetings to see how are you doing to your goal? How can we change this part of the continuous improvement plan to make it more effective? Or what type of information or what type of training does your school leadership team need, and how can we support that? So there are multiple parts to what we offer to help save time, save stress, and save money. To your latter question, it is, so our company is based in Chicago. So we primarily grew up through our connections in the Chicago public school system. And we definitely have experienced that what you're talking about as principals leave, individual schools can change direction rapidly. So there are multiple approaches. And I think as our business expands and as any business expands, you're going to have a multi-tier approach. Oh, sorry, there was a fire truck out there. So excuse that. So as a business expands, you have to have that multi-tier approach where you go after the principal who is in charge of the school. Within that, you build relationships in the school leadership team. So then you hope to create brand loyalty, partnership loyalty that can go beyond just that one individual. So that's part of our success. We do have a 97% renewal rate of our partners. So we have built those relationships that we build continuity with those contracts. To your point about the district level, recently, so my territory, and I'm an account strategist who oversees the Eastern Seaboard, so New York, DC, Florida, all of that. Recently, I've had a lot of success focusing on the superintendent persona in New York specifically, and that is a really strong prospect for large-scale partnership, but also long-term partnership, because we know districts make more long-term decisions rather than schools making shorter-term decisions.
Thank you very much. Next, we have Ken.
Thank you,
Ken, go ahead.
Mayusha.
Yeah.
I'd like to dive into your question in a couple of different directions. It's de rigueur at 1MillionCups whenever somebody talks about your presentation to say, great presentation, I really loved it. Speaking efficiently about your company to new markets involves really pumping up your presentation. You may have heard when somebody said, oh my God, look at these numbers. These are terrible numbers. You have the opportunity to really grab the emotions of your listeners to dive a little bit deeper into what that problem really means. And it means different things at different levels. It means a lot for the individual kid. It means a lot for the country to attain and maintain greater competitiveness worldwide. It's a huge problem, but that didn't come out in your presentation. You just sort of gave us the numbers and said, this is a problem. Don't you see that? But it really has the opportunity to drag your listener in and to get them to feel what the problem really is. And then similarly, your solution needs to be really, really clear about how it provides relief, not just to the school principals that you're targeting, but relief to all of us who are worried about our kids and our country, because that's where you are, that's what you do. And I think that raising the emotional level of the presentation with direct impact on those kinds of issues will improve the efficiency of your speaking about your product. Also, I want to point out from your presentation that there's a lot of confusion about who is your customer. Is it public schools, private schools, principals, superintendents, parents, the owners of small childcare centers? That whole piece of who you are looking to talk to and fixing the presentation to meet the needs of those particular audiences. Third, efficiently, if you're looking for principals, there are aggregations of principals. There are associations of principals. If you're looking for student superintendents, there are aggregations of superintendents where you can deliver your message most efficiently, not necessarily one-on-one, but do your marketing and prospecting where those people aggregate. I don't know that space well enough to identify you should go talk to these people and set up a table at this convention, but efficiently by moving into that space for marketing and prospecting for sure.
Great, thank you, Ken. Those are all really helpful comments and suggestions. I really like the comment on the emotional aspect of the impact that we can make and that we should make. So thank you for all of that.
You're very welcome.
Thank you. Thank you. I think we have time for one last question, I think. Melinda, I see you have added a lot of comments. So would you like to kind of circle back?
I'd love to. One of my other thoughts, once you said nonprofits, got me thinking about nonprofits. And one of my examples is Garden Club, because I'm very involved on a national, regional, state, and local basis with Garden Club. They have schools. They've got the environmental and gardening school. They've got the flower design school. They've got the landscape school. And these are on a local basis all over the country. And they have people that come in and teach curriculum. So I'm realizing that Garden Club is not the only kind of nonprofit and or association that does this kind of curriculum that may also be a step sideways. And you probably first have to focus where you're focused, which is K through 12. But these may be some alternative markets, and these may be some things you want to pilot as a test to see if it works. I don't know if you've looked at piloting things, and also possibly going back to the daycare centers, find a daycare center like Myosha's that might be a pilot for your program so you can see how it works and see, get a little traction and see if it's going to be a viable market. So that was a lot of what I put into the comments. I just see lots and lots of opportunity to you. I also agree that I'm scattered with all of who do you contact in the different types of schools? Is it the principal? Is it the teacher? Is it the local PTAs? I mean, that's another way that you can get your voice out. Pick one or two that you're going after. You can have, and you can continue to go after the others, but focus on one so you can get a lot of traction and see if that makes a lot of sense for you, what you're doing.
Great, thank you for those suggestions. To your latter point, we do definitely focus on the key decision maker, which at the school level, it's the principal. At the district level, it's the superintendent. Sometimes that key decision maker can expand to a school board as well as they approve the financial aspect of it. But we have a sales strategy and a system built to focus on those two primary personas, but then understanding that there are influencers throughout that. So maybe it's approaching, if we can't access a principal at a school, like if they're just impossible to meet with, we then shift our focus to the chief information officer in the school or the chief technology officer, and then work our way through that way, elongating the sales process a little bit, but it could, in the end, lead us to that end persona that we're looking for.
You need a champion who will champion it all the way through the system for you.
Exactly, yeah.
All right, thank you very much. Adam, I was trying to figure out, are you something like the Schoology or what? I wasn't very clear what you're trying to solve. Is there something like yours out in the system, out there already, or is it a brand new approach to something?
Yeah, thanks. That's a really important question. So there are systems, there are companies out there that just do the dashboard part. There are, of course, different companies out there doing project management, but there's nothing that integrates in between that combines all of that. So there's no system out there that integrates data, visualizations, dashboards into strategic planning and impact reporting. So that's where we become key to the market and answering a key problem that principals, superintendents have, that they don't have a singular place that they can go to get all three of those aspects. Because like I said earlier, there are just too many disparate systems that they have to go to. I think, Adriana, you mentioned that as a parent, you had to access umpteen different types of dashboards to get information about your child's performance or information from the school. But what our app does is we integrate all of that into one space for the school leaders to help them make decisions, to build continuous improvement throughout their school years, throughout their school cycles.
When you go to present, I will recommend you to go and put yourself against those systems. Like they have SIS. My daughter is in FCPS. My husband works at FCPS. So I'm pretty familiar. I have a childcare center. So I'm just saying that you want to compare and see like data and drafts and tables. Like this is what we're offering. I think that's sometimes it's a little bit hard. I know we have one more person, John Forster, and then after that we will go to John Rotenberg.
Great. Thank you, Myosha. Adam, great to meet you. And yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed the presentation. I guess certainly a couple of points that were made by Ken. And I think the one thing I would ask is, do you, in 30 seconds, could you tell me what you do? In 30 seconds, just, I call it an elevator pitch, I guess. Because it sounds, I hear you talk about integration and different things. That's one thing. And the other comment I want to make, are there other software products out there that you are either complementary to or can, I know you integrate some things, but are there a couple out there that you could talk to, as, I use the term co-opetition, if you will, where you can bring that together to, enhance your solution?
Great. Two really great and important questions. To your latter point, so the way that Inno is designed is part of what we offer is we design those dashboards. We can build those dashboards integrating the different systems. But if a school has like an infinite campus or they use Tableau for other dashboards, we can simply take that dashboard that's already created that they are already happy with because it's about data their way. We can just embed that dashboard into Inno. So it's one singular place. And then that's cooperatively working with strategic planning behind it. So that's one of the aspects that we cooperate across different platforms.
Okay.
So really, really good question there.
I have one other quick follow-up. Are you familiar with a firm called Gaggle?
I am not. I have not.
Okay.
Not heard that.
So we can talk about this offline, but Gaggle works with schools, and one of the things they do is they get into school systems and help to identify high-risk students as far as suicide goes.
Okay.
So anyway, that may be an interesting partner. So
yeah, thank you.
I've got a connection there, so I'd be happy to talk about it.
Okay, yeah, I really appreciate that. We're finding that social emotional aspects and like school climate and culture, that those are key aspects, especially as we hopefully quickly come out of this pandemic. That's a really important focus on all school systems, school buildings. Thank you.
Thank you, John. Our final question goes to John Rotenberg.
Thank you, Myosha and Adam. Great presentation, and thank you. You kind of preempted our last question with your very last slide because you're a veteran of making 1 Million Cups presentations. But hey, in addition to all the suggestions and questions you've been asked today, what is another way 1 Million Cups can help you succeed?
Great. So it's kind of been touched upon, but I really want to focus on the messaging part of it. Specifically this presentation, the way this presentation is lined up. Did it land properly? I know there are some questions, some holes in gaps in knowledge that I was able to answer throughout the questions, but are there ways that we can make this more effective in making the message land clearer throughout the presentation?
Great answer. And thank you again. We appreciate, one, you have the courage to stand up in front of a group of people you've never seen before. Maybe Rosemary, were you the mentor today, Rosemary? Yeah, so you knew Rosemary, she's a great representative, but the rest of us, you had to put up with, and we thank you for that. We hope you have all the luck in the world and become a regular attendee at a 1 Million Cups. It's the best way to get help and to build your relations.
Great, thank you, John. Really appreciate the opportunity and all of the advice.
John, you.
All right, next slide, Melinda. Okay, now we will like to, time to time, we invite our past presenter back to just kind of let us know how things are going. So at this time, I'd like to ask Jeanette from Just For Us. So she presented a few months ago, and we would love to hear, Jeanette, how things are going, whether there was certain things that you took away from our meeting that really helped you. So floor is yours, Jeanette, so please tell us how things are going.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for this amazing opportunity. Everything is wonderful. You guys were my first 1MC platform that I presented on. So I just want to say thank you for that. And I have, Melinda has been amazing. Support, you know, I began the presenting process. I knew nothing about 1MC, and she has held my hand, walked me through, and been an amazing support ever since. And so I just want to say a special thank you to Melinda, and not only that support on the 1MC platform, she is a Just For Us family member, customer, family member, because she actually uses the product. So yay! But we since then, I think we were about in four locations when DFW locations when I presented. We are now in 6 DFW locations, and we are in a location in North Carolina, as well as we just received our trade. We are returning to your guys' neck of the woods and presenting at Veterans Grow America this coming weekend. So come out and support all who can and who will, if you have the time, not just for us, but the other vendors who will be presenting and sharing their dreams with you guys on that day. So I just wanted to just pop in and say thank you for what you do. You guys are simply amazing. Linda, a special thank you to you for everything you've done and you continue to do, and joining the Just For Us family. Thank you.
All right, thanks, Jeanette. Yeah, we love to hear, especially when our previous presenter really succeed, not only through some of the advice that we've given, but also in general. We love to see that. So thanks, Jeanette, for giving us giving us an update on how things are going.
Absolutely. Thank you, guys.
All right, next slide. All right, so we have a number of presenters that are lined up month of October, as you can see, as well as we're scheduled all the way through November. And we have a number of several applicants currently under review to be scheduled, but we need more. If you really enjoyed the meeting today, it's coming together of minds coming together and helping and solve business challenges. And so I would encourage everyone, if you are a business owner or if you know someone who is a business owner, would ask that you get the word out and encourage those who have business to come and present. Next slide.
I messed up. I didn't do a presenter slide. Next week we have Smart Move. It wasn't in the template. So maybe you want to say a little bit more about next week's presenter, or
it's Smart Move?
Yeah, it's Smart Move.
Yeah, I don't have any information about Smart Move, but yeah, next week we have Smart Move and then followed by a podcast expo. All right, so there are a number of events that are in the area, as you can see on this slide. I won't go through them, but let me just open it up. If anyone would like to share an event that they know that will benefit the community, please share with us. Or take a moment to read through the events that are on the slide.
John,
Actually, the event on the, oh, go ahead.
I have a workshop on Friday. It's a free workshop. It's called "This Is Your Brain on Brands." It's all about how branding shapes our brain and kind of influences the way that we think, and then how, as consumers, we can be wiser about the brand decisions that we make because we understand what's happening in our brain. So I'll drop the information in the chat.
Yes, please. Thanks, Reggie. Yeah, so if you like to share some events that either you're hosting or you know of that would benefit the community, please feel use a chat box to share that information. John Foster, do you have an event that you'd like to share with us?
John, actually, an event which I'll say maybe is indirectly. So I'm very active with Career Network Ministry. And so we have like 12 events going on a weekly basis. So if you know people that are looking for work, under or unemployed, you can find us on Meetup under Career Network Ministry.
All right. You can
John,
share
I've got
that
something.
link to the Creator Ministry in the chat box as well.
I'll do that.
I just want to emphasize coming up, and it's late next week, it's the day after our meeting, is the Fairfax County Economic Development. They are working on the event on the 21st, which is the economic development of Fairfax County. It's something that they do. It goes over 2.5 days, and there are vendor tables, and it's free. And you can go to their website to get more information. And I just wanted to point it out because we've had it on the calendar for a while, and it's finally going to be next Thursday. So put it on your calendar so you don't forget.
Great. Thanks, Melinda. All right, next slide. Okay, so we come to the end of our meeting. I want to thank everyone, especially thanks Adam for the presentation. As you all know, entrepreneurship is a journey. Sometimes it could be a lonely journey because you face many challenges that you need to overcome. Just wanted to remind everyone that you don't have to take that journey by yourself. I encourage you to take advantage of the free resources such as 1 Million Cups to be part to help you get through those tough times. Next slide. All right, so I think this is the last slide. I want to thank Kaufman Foundation, who is the sponsor, who is backing for this 1 Million Cups and supporting 1 Million Cups. If you'd like to learn more about entrepreneurship and what Kaufman Foundation do, please visit their website. All right, that's the end of the meeting. Everyone have a good week, and we look forward to seeing you next week. Thank you.
Thank you all.
Thanks, everybody. Thank you, Adam, for sharing your business with us.
And Jeanette, thank you for coming back.
Absolutely.
Thank
Adam,
you, guys.
come back in a few months as well and give us as great an update as we got from Jeanette.
Sounds great. Thank you, everyone.
Absolutely.
Thanks,
Great
everybody.
job,
Everybody.
Adam.
Bye.
Bye,
Hope to see you
everyone.